Hey guys, how you all doing? So yesterday I posted a game featuring the Dum Gambit against the French defence, and in the analysis of that I stumbled across something that seems to perform as well or even better, but bizarrely also performs at higher levels as well, and it is known as the Alapin Gambit, or is it the Alapin? I don't know, it's got a couple of names, against the French. And so this morning I've just started looking into it. It's only 6 AM here. I've already done a bit of research. Now, there's many ways of going about this. So let me show you the start of it. Now, right now I'm in the chess.com Explorer, and I'm looking at games played by FIDE master or national master William Greff. So this is the French, e4, e6. Now the French defence very often continues with this. They'll have c5 as a pawn break. They'll end up with a bad light squared bishop. There's lots of ways it can go. I used to play it a bit. It's on the positional side for sure. It kind of can be fun, and there's very often a fight around d4 with a knight coming out, this pawn here. Not really my style, to be honest, or not really the style that I prefer. And d5 is almost universally played here. I mean, black's got to contest the centre, and here the gambit continues with bishop to e3. So we're apparently giving up this pawn, and quite honestly, black has to accept. Now, from this point, so after they accept, so William Greff has always played f3 here. Okay, and that is one way to go about it. However, let me flip over now to the Masters database on chess.com. And we go e4, e6, d4, d5, bishop e3, and we have a bunch of games. We've got about 60 games in this line, played by quite a few players. Grishuk has played it, Ivanchuk has, Grishuk has played it, Nigel Short has played it. Several players have played this even at the highest level and even in classical chess, so it's perfectly valid. Bottom line is that although you are offering this pawn, it's one of those not really a gambits, because you're almost bound to get that pawn back unless you choose to go for a double pawn sack, which is perfectly valid as well. You know, like the Smith-Morra, you give 2 pawns, you recapture with a knight. The kind of semi-Danish, you give 2 pawns, you could recapture with a knight. The what's it called? What's the one I've been playing against with the Scotch? The Goering Gambit. You have that option there as well. Very often you offer the second pawn, recapture with a knight, so you're 1 pawn down, but you've got a knight in the board, etc., etc. And there's another one in the French where they accept the pawn, and then you immediately play f3, but it's not with the bishop hand. That's called the Geertz-Peters Gambit. Now, so they pretty much capture. Now, what do the masters do? Knight to d2. Right? And the masters do very well, in fact, from this position. So I've just started to put, so this is kind of just an introduction. I've just started to put together a study on this. But the key thing is that there's a few ways that they can go from that position. Let me show you, for example, kind of a main line. I've got best moves. I don't really want that. Okay, so this is like the main line with knight to d2. French defense, the Alapin Gambit. They nearly always, so let me tell you, I've got this set, I think, to 1800 plus, so all the way up to 2500. So I'm going from my level to stronger players. Okay. 66% of the time, so 2/3 of the time, they will accept. We'll look in a minute what happens if they decline. They will accept. And now with the knight d2 line, the computer actually prefers black here, but the computer's very materialistic. This pawn is defended, so it doesn't matter that we're blocking the queen's defense of that. We are hitting this guy here. And knight to f6 is played 69% of the time. It's almost universal again. And now there are various options. Now, the top option, and again, this is I've got no blitz or bullet here. This is all rapid and classical and correspondence. The most commonly played move here is pawn to f3. We also have pawn to c3. Now this is the pawn to c3 line. They'll play b6. The idea is to fianchetto this bishop and add further defense to this pawn, because clearly the pawn can come under more pressure. g3 or even g4 actually. g4 here is a very challenging move. It's the most popular played move here, and it wins 65% of the time. So that's one that I might certainly explore. Okay, but here just g3. So you're going to meet their fianchetto with your own fianchetto, because you can't attack the bishop from here because they get took, right? So they fianchetto their bishop, you fianchetto your bishop. Most common here move knight b to d7, and we only have 12 games here, but white has won 8 of them, right? Queen c2, and you're preparing a long castle. Now already your French player they're a long way from France now. They don't know what's going on. This is the most common move, c5. The 4 games, white's won 3, and now we can simply recapture the pawn. Okay, so we are happy. We are also ready to castle. Black is not ready to castle because it's got bits in the way. We've got a nice fianchetto bishop, take, 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 take. This is all most common. And after takes and bishop takes, this is a slight error from Black's part. We've now tied this bishop down to the fence of that because we are attacking g7. So this bishop can't move, or the g7 pawn falls. We are maybe planning to long castle. And after knight f6, hitting our queen, we can simply capture here, right? The queen can't capture because the rook will hang with check. So they're going to have to take back with a pawn, at which point we can play rook d1, hitting the queen. It's plus 2.8 in white's favour, and it's all looking good. So the point of this is very un-French. Both, I don't know. Okay, so let's look at just another variation. I'm not going to go into a load of theory here because I'm just still feeling my way around and finding out which way I want to go with this. So from here, after they take, let's see what's played. So knight d2 50% of the time, and does very well with 51% wins. f3 is played a third of the time, and white is slightly better with 49% wins, right? But I have got that William Greff game in that Jose sent to me. He's got a game on YouTube, but it's a blitz game, right? And he does very, very well. But it is challenging. So this is like going. There are many, many gambits that go down this line, offering this second pawn here. And if they take, you recapture with a knight, and you're just going for that, massive development in the middle. Okay, now let's go knight d2. And what happens if they try and defend the pawn with f5? Well, this is actually quite balanced. Now you can go down this line. So this idea of knight d2 followed by f3, you're seeing quite a few lines. And here, look, 1, 2, 3 developed pieces, and black's got nothing. And this is very much not a French. And he's really weakened himself with this. Now the computer says equal, absolutely bang even. Knight comes out, bishop comes out, everything's flying out. Queen e2. Castles, long castles. And I mean, there have been 9 games played in this situation, followed by like c6, for example, or knight c6. But 33 games from this point, and white has won 52% of them. Although the computer only puts white slightly ahead, this is by no means a French. Right? We have completed development, and look at black. 1, 2, 3 pieces still to come off the back rank. We are done and dusted, and we are ready to launch a massive attack. So white wins 52% against 30% for black from here. So I think it's quite interesting. Now, the other thing I did was that I looked up strong players. So you know that well, let's play the first few moves, right? So from here, Lichess will not only give you the averages, but then show you some strong players, okay? Now, if I play knight to d2 and have a look, and we've got this Carlos Valencia 854, or Carlos Valencia 854, depending on where he's from, is a big player of this, and he's like 21, 2200 rated in Rapid and above. So here is a game of Carlos's, for example, just to give you a feel, just to give you a flavour. Okay, we have knight f6, which is the most common move. Carlos plays f3. I'm liking this, I'm liking the style of this. Black takes, Carlos recaptures with the knight. We have bishop e7, makes sense, he wants the castle. Bishop d3, rapid, rapid, rapid. Knight b to d7, castles. Hello. This looks a bit funky. So most common moves here are castles, c5, b6. Knight f8 has been played twice at 53 games, so a bit of an odd move. And now this is something I understand. This is something I recognise from the Sicilian Grand Prix. This queen e1, you're going to bring your queen to one of these squares so that she can join in the fun. Okay, now you see the point. Now he's decided to reroute his knights round. He's a French player after all, right? He likes solid and stuff. We have queen out here. Computer disapproves. Prepares to fianchetto. Our knight is starting to creep in. Our knight creeps in. Queen h3. And this is a blunder. This is a thunder blunder. Because, yeah, it's knight g5. Knight g5. So we want to checkmate here. And look, right, this open f-file idea, once again, suits me. They push the pawn. Now bishop takes knight, pawn takes knight, and bang. And it's actually forced mate in 2, whatever happens from here. So the only option is rook here, because the king can't go here, right? And then after king h8, the nice finish, knight takes g6 mate, right? Do you like the feel of that game? I certainly do. So I think what I'm going to do is I might immerse myself in Carlos's games. Might check out some of Carlos's games. And what's interesting as well is that you can go through here, for example, and you can look at these games. So, you know, you click on a game, you can say view, and if you like it, you can insert. You can insert that game into the current chapter. And I think that is very interesting indeed. So I'm liking this because it feels like this Dima Dum thing will run out of steam, and I think we checked in the database, and it will run out of steam at some point. It's a bit of a blitz one-trick pony, yeah. But this one, if it's good enough for Nigel Shaw, it's good enough for me. So there you go. Let me know in the comments, do you play this? If so, which line do you go down? Do you go down the immediate pawn f3? Do you play knight d2, then f3? Whatever. Let me know, because I want to know. I want to educate myself. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon.